how are you? Welcome back to Tommy's Outdoors. This is the second installment of my beginner's guide to bass fishing with lures. In this episode, I discuss the most promising types of marks and at what stage of the tide you should fish these marks. Also, I give you some general tips about how to find the right bass fishing mark. And just for all my American viewers, we are talking here about the European sea bass, Dyson Trachus labrax. So let's get started. I'm not going to talk about tides in detail here, as this would be a topic for the entire different video. And by the way, if you're interested and want me to talk about tides in more detail, then please let me know in the comments down below. So let's just say spring tides are usually better than neap tides, as there is more movement in the water and the high water and low water marks are more pronounced. The best time is usually from 2 hours before and 2 hours after the turn of the tide, with a caveat that during the slack water the fish activity usually stops. Also, during the rising tide, fish naturally tends to move closer to the shore, so remember that in some types of coastlines this might make a big difference. Now keep all that in mind and let's talk about 3 distinct types of fishing marks that I like to fish when chasing bass from the shore. First is a structure, any type of structure, either natural or artificial. Fish tends to congregate around structures. The best time to find these structures is during low tide, when they are exposed, and then you can come back and fish the spot during high water when they are submerged. Some types of structures, like this one here, are stretching a long way out to the sea, and you can try and fish these marks during both high water and low water. It's a similar concept as fishing over rocky ground from a boat. Fishing large structures is ideal during the sunny days in colder months. The sun heats up the structure, and when the flooding tide covers the structure, in turn, it heats up the water. These patches of warmer water can attract fish. Just look at all the nooks and crannies. That's where the bait fish and other living creatures like crabs can find a lot of places to hide, and that's where bass go to feed on them. Harbor or bay, usually sandy bottom, perhaps with little structures here and there. You can often find the outlet of a stream there as well, in which case you'll be fishing in the estuary. The idea is that the tide will create currents. These can be pretty strong in some places, so you need to be careful. Soft sand and strong currents are a dangerous combination, and if you lose your balance and fall into the water, this can have serious implications. The movement of water creates great conditions for fishing, so the 2 hours before and after the turn of the tide are the best. In these types of marks, in most cases, it will be a low tide. Low water exposes all the features of the mark that makes it interesting for fish and anglers alike. These marks are usually summertime marks, and they tend to not fish too well in winter. Rocky marks will give you access to deeper water. They are a sure bet during the cold winter months, as rock absorbs the heat from the sun and then naturally heat up the water, which attracts the fish. In most cases, they will fish best during the high water turn of the tide. As usual, it all depends on the specificity of the mark and how deep the water is below during the low tide. Since rocks and cliffs give you access to deeper water, you can catch also a variety of species that you can't on the marks discussed previously. Apart from bass, a wrasse, pollock or mackerel should be no surprise. Words of warning though, rocky marks can be very dangerous. Not only is the access and walking on them risky, but the swells hitting them can be dangerous. Many anglers have been washed into the sea from the rocks. They either drowned or were smashed by the sea against the very rocks they were fishing from. So it is important to wear a life jacket and tell someone you trust where you are going and when you expect to come back. Remember, the best fishing mark is the one closest to where you live. In this video, I'm giving you general guidelines only, something to get you started, but it's entirely up to you to figure out your own marks. When they fish best, during what stage of the tide, during what time of the day and year. It might or might not be exactly as I described in this video. That's why the more time you spend fishing a particular mark, the more you will learn about it. Because in the end, the unsuccessful fishing session might be just as valuable as the one when you catch a lot of fish. I hope this was useful. Leave a comment down below and don't forget to like and share this video. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the outdoors.